Welcome, everybody, to This Is Difficult, the podcast. We're always right on time, and everything we do runs as smooth as eggs. I don't know what's smoother than that.
Eggs are smooth.
Wait, it
Outside
depends
is
on
real
how you
smooth.
cook them.
How,
You can make
Outside
how
of
are we
the egg,
preparing them?
shell.
the outside
shell.
of the egg. Have you seen
Shell.
Gordon Ramsay's scrambled eggs? They're very smooth.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
That's us.
they look not like scrambled eggs. I'm
This
sorry.
show is more like
Team Josh
scrambled
Scherer
eggs.
there.
This show is more like scrambled eggs, I should say. Hi and welcome. We talk about video game and video game related materials therein. We got a fat one for you this week. Lots of new and cool things to talk about. And finishing up our whatever the word, I already forgot what the word for it is.
Series?
Series. I was like segments. A series on gaming generations. That's gonna be really exciting. Pass it off to Paul to lead us into this adventure.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to introduce us. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and introduce. Yeah.
I am Lord Yeshua, your co-host. My name is Josh, and we were on Paul's channel. It's Ryugami-san in the flesh, and not another letdown, but it's another letdown.
Hey.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
And now to Paul.
Thank you. I feel like Gordon Ramsay's scrambled eggs are just savory custard.
Right?
I want
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
agree
I like
completely.
I like when people cook an egg by like constantly moving it and like
Yeah.
so, like, perfect.
That's the
the way.
style.
I have.
I disagree
personally.
personally, but
I like just popping that shit up with some veggies and stuff, and
yeah. I like
crazy.
I like fluffy scrambled eggs. You know what I mean? Like I
like a
like them to
little
be like solid, like not liquidy, which
A
Gordon
little
Ramsay's are a little
wet.
liquidy.
Oh, okay.
And I'll do, especially if
Yes,
I put
Gordon
cheese, there's a
Ramsay.
little bit of glisten in there, but I like it to
There you
be
go.
more fluffy, like chunky
Agreed.
kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Makes me want some eggs.
I love
Make
eggs.
them. I love it.
Yeah. But how you guys
Where are we?
been? How's how have your weeks been? Josh, what you been up to? What games you been playing?
Games and working a lot, and let's see. Of course, playing Elden Ring. This is, of course, the breakthrough game that I'll just mention it right now. Came out this week on the 25th. If you haven't heard of this game, then you don't really have social media or use the internet, I don't think.
Highest
Because
rated
this is-
game in history.
I think this is the
Yeah.
highest rated game in history. I'm just getting in. And I saw the loadout. It's like I would frame this if I was From Software. It was all the fucking ratings like compiled on this like giant poster,
Mhm.
and they were all tens. And I will say, yeah, it's definitely like a 10 so far, and especially if you have more powerful hardware. Like, oh, it's a 10 for sure. Like, I'm not even like bashing anything like that issue wise because it's really minimal actually in my experience. Like, no like frame issues or anything, and graphically, like, okay, yeah, I don't have the best graphics card, so whatever. It still looks like as good as any like PS4, really good looking PS4 game, I would say. Like
Yeah.
for me at least, so it looks as good as Doom Eternal, I would say, which is like, but for
Right.
like third person. This game is incredible. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. It's not even the type of game I would normally play, but it is very, very, very fucking good. It's basically Lord of the Rings, the game, rated M with a Zelda flair. It does have a Zelda flair to it, and you have to admit, Paul.
Well,
there's
I've been
something
saying
to it.
this for a while that, and I said this in my reviews of Demon Souls remaster and or remake and Dark Souls remaster, that those games feel like grown up Zelda.
This game especially feels like grown-up Zelda because it
Yeah.
it like starts like Dark Souls, literally no spoilers, but like, and then it opens into this beautiful. It's
Mhm.
not really a spoiler. You see that in the trailer, but and then it's just like so awesome. That's how I feel like with Lord of the Rings. It's like this vast lore interconnected world, and the creatures you see aren't like demons. They're like trolls and shit, and like like actual creatures. And like I think it's pretty fucking cool, and it's a cool direction. And I could see a 2, 3, and 4 in this series for sure. Like I haven't beaten it, so I have no idea. It could be a one-off. But I already see this being like potentially their new like mainline series. Anywho, that's me. And I don't even know. We played. Oh, me and Colin also played. So we played that co-op, which is really good. And then I stand corrected on the co-op. It's actually pretty damn good and smooth. And
Yeah.
you really just need to do a few things to get it going smoothly. And we played Donkey Kong 64 co-op as well. Oh wait, no, was it co-op? It wasn't co-op. Fuck, we just swapped off. But we emulated it. We emulated it, and I mean, we totally bought it, and I actually own this game, so it's fine.
Yeah,
But we got this mod that lets you just press a button to switch between the Kongs
Oh, that's cool.
instantaneously. It is not even enter the Kong barrel. Like just press. I think it's left on the D-pad to go that direction on the Kongs, or right on the D-pad to cycle through that direction. It's instantaneous, and it makes the game so much better. And Colin was like, he's like, he'll watch me. He said, like, I get that, like, maybe I'm feeling nostalgic about it, and it's not like as good as Banjo-Kazooie, but this is a quality of life enhancement for sure. It's not quite, I guess, co-op yet with that mod, so we're working on that. There's no puppets yet, which means even if it's co-op, you can't see each other in the game. It's kind of like not fun, like you're playing an invisible guy.
Right.
But yeah, those are the 2 games, dude. Elden Ring, I can't recommend enough. We'll obviously do a group review on this game, I think, because it's that good. I think that'll be in like months. Like this game is gonna be
a while. Like I mean, I did order my power supply, and it should be here it should be here Friday. So I will be starting that journey soon.
The only other game I'm going to be playing is Kirby, and I can see that taking me 20 hours and playing it alongside Elden Ring and being fine with that.
That's coming soon, right? That's what, in just a couple weeks?
It's
2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Like 26 days.
Yeah. End of March, yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, 1 month exactly from Elden Ring. So yeah, this is a big game, guys. I'd say it's definitely like the equivalent of Lord of the Rings coming out in theaters. Not even kidding, like for video games.
Yeah, except for it's good.
I'm gonna got him. Really hurt a lot. All right. But it's not super accessible. This game is not on the Switch. This game is not very great on the PS4. I heard. Maybe it is. Maybe it's. I heard.
I don't know.
A lot
I would imagine it's probably locked at 30 frames per second. I don't know. I've been playing on PS5.
It looks fine. Like I noticed the humans like don't look as like real in game for me as they do on like the PC, like the crazy PCs in the PS5. But yeah. So anywho, yeah, pass.
Zach, what's up, man? How have you been? What you been playing?
Well, it was a good week for me. Quite exhausting. It was the week before February vacation for my students, so they're all just bouncing off the walls like ping pong balls. But I did receive my possibly best teaching observation evaluation of my career.
Nice.
This past week. Pretty dope. Really I know that's not what we're here to talk about, but I'm very excited about it. Makes me feel very good. I played a couple of games. I finished up Grim Fandango. I'll review that in a couple of weeks, I think, once I have some time to capture some footage. Continued the playthrough of the Spider-Man Remastered DLC. Almost done with that. It's probably going to take me like 1, maybe 2 more streams to finish that, and then a couple to finish Miles Morales. So we'll hear about that pretty soon too. And then of course off stream, I was playing a whole bunch of Pokemon Arceus. Just got through the big Electrode fight, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's that game is fantastic.
I just don't have time.
So good.
The thing is, like, I'm taking advantage of this time that I don't have the power supply
to play Arceus. Yeah,
play Arceus.
I don't even have time to play Elden Ring, really. Like I'm only 6 hours in, and I've had it for 3 days, 4 days.
That's my big concern. Like I don't know what I'm going to have for time. Like I don't want this to turn out to be the next Destiny, where we just burn out on it. And
I'm pretty sure I'm going to put like 200 into this game.
It's going to be a lot,
I think, and Kirby 20, like maybe 30.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all I have planned.
Yeah. So, we'll see how it goes.
June.
But Josh, I do have something to throw at you.
Oh, throw it at me.
And I want to hear your opinion.
All right, what you got?
Every Thursday afternoon, my students who elect to, it's an elective, can take a robotics course.
Good. They're not forced. Okay, good.
Correct. The fourth graders are given the option to take a robotics course. And this week it was game programming. Using a little device called a Makey Makey. It looks like a NES controller, but it's like a flat piece of metal, and you can stick alligator clips to it and turn pretty much anything into a controller. So like you could, if you wanted to, stick one alligator clip on your thumb and one on your forefinger and like touch them together to complete the circuit.
What?
Which is really cool. Now, we started the day, my students were very distracted by the fact that, oh God, I can play Zelda, like literal Zelda, on this dumb MIT Scratch animation software game thing. So they spent a whole bunch of time playing that, and then they discovered, oh, I can play 1-1 of Mario, or at least we thought it was 1-1. And
emulation.
Well, anyway, it was some fan game basically.
Some chord comes up at the end. Oh no! Over your eyes. Oh no.
didn't even their assignment for the day, which was turn something in this room, my library, into an innovative controller.
Oh, that's sick.
And so my students continued to drive Mario forward and backward with the arrow keys, but to make him jump, they ran current through a stapler. So you now have you have a foot pedal to jump. And I am telling you right now, it was the most intuitive controller I've ever used.
Actually, sounds amazing. I would do that.
Right?
And like, yeah, I don't even know, dude. Like the duck could be like just like pushing your hands real quick or something. Like
sure,
you can do all of that shit, I feel like.
Yeah. So I'm playing what I thought was 1-1 and stomping on a pedal every time I wanted to jump. And it makes sense because I mean, if we were to jump, we use our legs. So the thought to just I
use my legs
with foot really makes perfect sense. And I'm like, oh my God, this is Josh's new speedrun tech for Mario right here.
You need 2 staplers, please.
2 staplers? All right, you got it. We'll do it.
One for ducking and one for jumping. And then just a run button. Just hold the run button.
Yep.
Tape it to the right.
So that was the other big thing that we did this week. We were really excited. I'll send you the video of that. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's technically gaming news.
Yeah, yeah, that's very cool.
That's badass.
Very cool. Let's see what did I do this week. I finally got a renter for my old house, so I'm very excited about that. And they're moving in tomorrow. Finished cleaning out the house and everything. Which is excellent. As for games, I got a decent amount of gaming in this week. Continued to play some more Arceus because I really, really love that game. And it should be noted. It should be noted that the announcement for the new Pokemon games was today, which was
let's hit that real quick.
What was the name of them again? It's
Violet and Scarlet are the 2 pairs.
Scarlet and Violet.
I'm assuming the third one is gonna be like Cerulean or some bullshit.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Anyway, if they do a third one, they haven't.
They're gonna do it. Oh wait, they haven't been doing that on main lines.
Yeah, they haven't been doing that lately.
I appreciate that. They just dropped like 1 DLC.
Well, so the thing that I noticed immediately while watching that trailer, and then I rewatched it to confirm, but I'm 99.9% sure that it's built on the Pokemon Arceus engine. The things that I noticed were like they were walking by a tree and it had the same, like berries in the tree that you see in Arceus, and I saw an item on the ground looked similar to an item that you would see in Arceus on the ground. And also there's a couple they don't really show gameplay, but there's a couple of scenes of Pokemon in the wild moving around. Looked very Arceus like.
We don't know what combat looks like.
Yeah, we don't know what combat looks like yet.
Turn-based.
But well, combat's turn-based in Arceus as well.
I'm wondering, really nice.
Anyhow, I did think that was really interesting. And then it kind of another confirmation was the Pokemon Company tweeted out that this game is going to be open world.
Yeah.
So I do think that really that Arceus was like a prototype for this game for sure.
What does that make Arceus then? Just like a one-off collectathon game?
Yeah, maybe. It wouldn't surprise me if they do more Legends games, right? Because it's Pokemon Legends Arceus, right? But
they're starting a thing,
yeah. I also picked up Elden Ring, and while I do plan on doing like a full playthrough on stream, and I'm not starting that until Tuesday is when I'm going to start that. I did start a throwaway character because I didn't want to wait.
I would not have.
Sorry.
Yeah. No offense.
What'd you say, bud?
Is that Mike?
Zach, what'd you say, bud?
Is that Zach? Who just said that? That's why I thought it was Jamali.
No, that's...
Who the fuck just spoke?
Oh, wow. Zach's audio is like ultra delayed for some reason. Let me see if I can fix that.
That was wild. Maybe that was just frustrating.
No, because he's not, now I can't hear him at all. Go ahead and talk, Zach. Yep,
Oh, no.
I can't hear him at all. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Oh no! And
Let me see if I can fix him.
Like a minute. It's gonna be really eerie.
Well, and what's weird is I
Oh,
heard like an ultra delayed. All right, go ahead and talk now.
I'm talking right now.
Okay, it's a slight delay.
No, it's not a slight delay. It's like a fucking minute delay. Zach, go ahead and leave and come back, and let's see if that fixes.
Yep. Hold on.
Oh, hilariously enough, when he said "Yep, hold on," it was
that
like
worked.
it was in time. Yeah. All right, we'll wait for Zach to get back here. How strange.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Pokemon, though. So
no,
I hope
we're talking about Elden Ring.
Oh yeah. I do hope they take Pokemon in that direction, though, real quick, because I'm gonna be kind of stale on it if they don't innovate hard on the main line.
Okay, he's back.
Now back to Elden Ring.
Yeah. That fixed it. All right, we're good. That was weird.
So no, my computer started to download something.
Oh, okay. That was so strange. Like,
that was hilarious.
You were like a minute behind. It was very strange. Anyway,
yeah, sorry about that.
We're talking about Elden Ring. I was saying that I'm going to start my playthrough on Tuesday, but I started a throwaway character because I didn't want to wait to start playing the game. So
of course not.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's too dope. My thoughts so far, I really love it.
It's stupid good.
Yeah, I can't really think of a complaint. I'm sure I will as I get further into it. Yeah, well, so I mean, other than the typical Souls stuff, which I do think there are things to complain about with Souls games, right? But
this one's like really good though. I can't think of anything that's like horrible mechanic wise that holds me back. You know what I mean?
So some of the menus are strange, and like even though it kind of explains how to do things, like it also doesn't explain how to do things.
That's actually,
and so I'm like sitting here like guessing how to use certain abilities, and you know.
Yeah. I personally think that's kind of like more of a positive than a negative, although it feels negative for a lot of reasons. I think that it definitely gives you like one blurb real quick. It's like, this is this, and you read it and you're like, okay, that's that. And you'll never hear about it again if you don't know exactly what to do in that moment. You know what I mean? So you have to go into your inventory and be like, how do I equip this? But because of that, it like really makes you think and focus on the game and like learn the mechanics, and you like really learn it. Like now for me, like it's more innate because I've been using these, like they feel like clunkier menus, but it becomes really intuitive after a while. I don't know. I feel like it's fucking awesome.
It's very good. Yeah, and like I said, other than like typical Souls stuff, I can't really say that I necessarily have a problem with it. But yeah, it's good. And then the other game that I played, which I'm going to be doing a review of next, is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I did my final episode of that playthrough, and
that was a shorter game than I thought.
Well,
he didn't finish it, Josh.
Exactly. And there's a two-part reason for that. Number one, no, I wouldn't say it completely sucks, but the main reason is because Elden Ring's coming out, and I wanted to start my playthrough of Elden Ring. But then number two is, yeah, it's not the best. I'm not super excited to be playing it on stream particularly. I might finish it off stream. I'll get into that in the review. But yeah, it just didn't. I wasn't vibing with it as a game to stream. So I retired it, and we're gonna review it. So we'll switch over to that screen. If someone wants to sound check us too, because I switched some things up, but okay. Yeah, go ahead and say something, each of you, real quick.
Party hard.
Cool. All right. Oh, let me hit play on this. Boop. There we go. Look, you can see me through my shirt.
Oh my God.
So, the game I'm reviewing today is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Budokai Tenkaichi.
I wish. Yeah, so this game was developed by CyberConnect 2 and published by Bandai Namco. It released on January the 16th of 2020. I played it on technically a PS4. I'm playing it on PS5, but it's the PS4 version. What is it available on? It's on everything. You can get it even on the Switch now.
Cool.
So that's neat. What do I like about the game?
Dragon Ball Z.
It's Dragon Ball Z. You know, it's the visuals are fine. I wouldn't say they're bad. You know, because it just looks like the cartoon in 3D, which is fine. I think it's done better in like Dragon Ball Fighters Z. But or fight Dragon Ball. How do you say the name of
Fighter
that?
Z.
Okay, Fighter Z, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Okay, or is it just Dragon Ball Fighters?
No,
You know?
I think that's
not
what it
that.
is. My mom used to say, she was like, "Are you still watching that Dragon Balls?" I'm like, "Dragon Ball Z, mom." It's like Dragon Balls.
So I do really like the combat system.
Like something.
But we'll go into that in a little more detail.
He doesn't hate everything.
Yo,
True.
Schmally doesn't hate everything. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, he likes a lot of stuff. Yeah. Let's see. What didn't I like about the game? There's a lot not to like about this game. First of all, it's an RPG, which is good, right? We want an RPG of Dragon Ball Z, but
well, but do we though? Because like it's the story of Goku. So here's my thought on RPGs of established properties. If you're not playing as the character or characters from that, is it going to be as fun? If you're just playing a character in that world, is it going to be the same amount of fun as if you were playing as the main character?
I think yes and no, but I that's a hard question to answer. But let me go into more of what I'm saying here in regards to an RPG. There's an RPG, and I talked about this during my streams of this game. It's called, it never came out in the United States. It only came out in Japan. But you can find translation patches. It's on the Super Nintendo. It's called Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan. And it's fucking awesome. It's really, really good. And it is a perfect example of how to do an RPG of an existing property. And it even follows the story. But one of the cool things about it is you can kind of alter the story depending on some of the choices you make.
Review that game instead.
I'm going to. I'm definitely going to. I said while I was playing this game that I'm going to get a translated copy of that game and play it on stream once I have the equipment to do so, just to illustrate how to do a good Dragon Ball Z RPG. And that's what I was hoping this game was, right? I was hoping it was basically a modern version of that game. Mm-hmm. It's not. One of the things that really drives me nuts is that it's like ultra cinematic. Like it wants you to basically like recreate almost every single episode of the show, which is kind of fine, but a lot of that isn't done through gameplay. It's done through cinematics. It's done through movies.
Just watching the show again.
Yeah, so you're just like watching the show. Yeah, like you can see in the background gameplay right now, there's another cinematic going on. These are like every 10 fucking seconds, it seems like.
I love that. I hate that.
Yeah, it's irritating, and it makes you feel really like
pulled out,
hamstringed, right? Like you don't have much control over what's going on. And yeah, so that's irritating. Also, another thing that I'm not super keen on is like the open world areas that you have. They feel pretty empty and silly. Like it almost seems like there's no reason not to just go to the next objective always, right? Which in an RPG, you want to do other things. You want to be able to talk to people, do side quests, which there are side quests. It's just like really sparse and weird. There's also like a weird, like there, you might see in some of the gameplay footage behind me, there you'll see a bunch of like floating balls and like circle, like rings and stuff. you're supposed to like fly and collect these, and these things are like currency in the game, but I feel like I'm playing Sonic, like collecting all these. It's such a weird thing to be doing in an RPG.
That's annoying.
Yeah, so it's just really strange. And then the other thing that really bothers me is the non-scripted battles. So like your random battles, random encounters that you'll have are so underpowered. It's ridiculous. Like they don't scale very well to your power level. And so, while it's, maybe for some people's power fantasy, the characters you're playing with are so powerful that like these little no-name Frieza minions are, such a pushover that you just plow through them. Fine, but like that's not fun to me, right? So like if you need to like grind and do stuff like that, it's just not very like these battles are so short because you like almost one hit every other character. And then the contrast between that and the scripted battles, some of the scripted battles are very hard. So like it's just a weird contrast. You would think that like they'd balance it a little better. So yeah, I didn't like that. How's the story? The story's fine, right? It's the story of Dragon Ball Z. If you like Dragon Ball Z, you'll like the story. Is it engaging? A little too engaging, right? Because of all these cinematics. Again, we've been playing this gameplay in the background, and 90% of it so far has been cinematics.
That's really
right? Awful. Really awful.
It's like we've seen the show. Why?
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Let me play it out fully.
I mean, I'm literally in the middle of I'm finishing up a rewatch of Dragon Ball and moving into DBZ.
Yeah.
I almost don't feel like
you shouldn't.
Yeah. No, you should rewatch Dragon Ball Z. Yeah,
no,
it's very good.
Long time ago, but like maybe I should just pick up this game instead.
It doesn't hold up.
You could, if you wanted to skip watching Dragon Ball Z. This definitely,
I think the fights
fulfills that, right?
I think the fights Cell and Onward hold up. I think Frieza a little bit too.
Frieza drags on.
There's a lot of dragging with
no.
And even Cell, it's like the most stupidest concept. He's like, I'm just gonna wait.
There's a lot of honestly everything after the Saiyan saga I feel like drags on a little too long. There's definitely episodes you can kind of skip through.
The Majin saga becomes so confusing and convoluted, and it's just like really stupid, I feel like. But like cool, but also like, okay, you can't kill this guy. Like, okay, I get it already.
Yeah. Just anyway. If you're gonna watch it, just skip the stuff that you feel like is.
And that's where Kai comes in, but I hear Kai is not good. Like people are like, Kai isn't
so
as good as regular Z.
We're getting off topic here.
I was gonna say we're way off topic,
but I don't necessarily agree with that. There's two arcs in Kai that are very good, and I would say the final one of those arcs is maybe better than anything in Dragon Ball Z.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice. So but the first few arcs are hard to get through, and the writing's bad and the animation's bad. So
yeah.
But it's getting way better, and the manga is way ahead of the show. I would assume if they keep going that it will continue to get better. So anyway,
honestly, my favorite Dragon Ball Z thing is the Tree of Might. Still, that movie.
That movie's awesome.
That movie's awesome.
Back on the game. So we talked about the story, the gameplay. Like I said, the battles are very fun, with the exception of the random encounters are just kind of too easy, but the battle system's done very well. The rest of the gameplay is like it would be fine if it was more fleshed out, but they spent so much time, making these cinematics and not enough time making the rest of the game good, which is just such a strange choice to me, especially because you do have the show, right?
Exactly. Like for free on Crunchyroll.
Yeah. The art's good. Like it's a decent looking game,
good.
There's better looking, right? We talked about Fighter Z, but I think that game's exceptionally looking, right? Like it's exceptional. Whereas this is good. It's fine. Like it does the job. It's not ugly. Everything looks basically the way it should. The music, very good, right? It's the music from the show. So yeah, the music's good. No complaints there. Sound design, again, it's the sound from the show, so everything sounds very familiar. I'm playing it in Japanese because I can't stand the American voices. But yeah, it's fine. How long did it take? Like I said, didn't finish this. I am late in the Frieza saga, right? So like at my final stream, I had gotten to final form Frieza.
It's probably the end then,
and that's
after Frieza.
No, this goes all the way through. I think to Super
Saga.
Well, I think so. That's what's boggling about this, right? Like someone likes this game because they keep putting out expansions for it. There's a bunch of expansions for this. They've got the
Too much,
like the specials, like the Trunks special and maybe the Bardock special too. I'm not sure. There's like a special Android expansion. There's like it goes through the Buu saga. I'm pretty sure they've introduced some stuff from Super now. Like someone's playing this. I don't know.
Christmas
because they keep making expansions for it, but I don't know. Anyway, so I couldn't tell you how long this takes, but I mean, judging by the amount of like cinematics, if they do this throughout the entire game, like it could take you as long as it does to watch the show. You know, like realistically,
longer than Elden Ring.
Yeah. So you know, terrible. I don't know. I don't
want to play that at all.
I was really hoping that once I got to Namek, it would open up and be a little more free, like a regular RPG. But you know, the same kind of bullshit keeps on going. So I don't know. Is the game difficult? So like I said, the in-world enemies, no. But like the scripted battles, like boss battles, some of them are really hard. So, you know, yes and no, I guess. Also your power level or like your actual like character level plays a huge role. Like if something is a couple levels higher than you, it might whip your ass. But if you're a couple levels higher than you're gonna probably whip its ass. Like it just doesn't scale that well. So
that's annoying.
Yeah.
I hate accidentally getting ahead in RPGs, and then you can't like stop that.
Yeah.
And you have to skip combat, and you're like, ugh, I like really don't want to not fight these guys, but like
one thing I do like, which I thought was a nice touch, if you're flying like really fast. Like you can fly at like a normal speed, or you can click the button and like, you know, you're all powered up, flying super fast, and you run into an enemy that is way under leveled. Instead of fighting them, you'll just kill that enemy by smashing into them, which is kind of hilarious. It's happened
like
to me a few times.
That's like the bump attack badge.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what that is.
So yeah, would I play a sequel?
No.
Here's the thing. If they made a game that was like Legend of the Super Saiyan, but with modern technology, right? Hell yes. Right? But if it was going to be the same format as this, abso-freaking-lutely not. Yeah, it was a rough one. Overall rating and impression. I do think there are redeemable things about this game. And if you are like a huge fan of the show, like just a diehard fan, and you enjoy every aspect of it, including watching it, and you want to play out those battles, you know, I might recommend it. I am a huge fan of the show, and I do enjoy watching it, but I just finished watching it, right? Like I just finished rewatching the show, which is actually why I wanted to play this game. Mm-hmm. And little did I know that you know, instead of playing the show, I'd be watching it again. You know, so with the exception of like playing out some of the battles, which, like I said, battles are good. You know, with the scripted ones are. So I'm not going to give this like a total dumpster score. But it's certainly not going to be our typical, you know, 9.5 kind of thing that we, you know, tend to give out. I'm going to give this like a 6.3.
6.3 is higher than I thought. I think you give like
yeah,
5.4.
so that puts it into like it's below Samurai Jack for you.
Yeah.
And above what I gave Mall Brawl, Jay and Silent Bob.
Okay, so Jay and Silent Bob, you said was borderline unplayable.
It was borderline unplayable.
This is not unplayable. I
Yeah.
think there are some people that would enjoy it, and actually the amount of people that apparently keep buying it, you know, because they keep putting out expansions for it, you know, suggests that some people do enjoy this. I do think this game is for someone. It's just not for me. Right. And, you know, if they condensed it a little more and like, you know, fewer cinematics, more actually playing out what's happened, better, you know, like open exploration kind of stuff, like more in tune with like a traditional RPG, this would be a freaking killer game. It'd be absolutely amazing. But as it stands, it's rough, you know. So
I think the comparable bit here between Kakarot and Mall Brawl is the fact that there's a game in there, but it just doesn't line up. Like the rest of what they're trying to do with the game doesn't line up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. There is a game in there that functions very well. Like you can see a battle going on behind us. It's Vegeta versus Zarbon. You're playing as Vegeta, and this is you know, Zarbon in his second form, and like it looks awesome. Like, and it plays on. That was an awesome fight. But you know, it's everything that's in between.
I don't remember Zarbon at all.
You don't remember Zarbon, the green-haired guy from?
Oh, is that his name? I remember that guy.
Yeah, Prince Zarbon. Anyway,
Prince of Namek.
No, he's one of Frieza's minions.
Oh yeah, he gets bleeped by Vegeta.
Yeah, he just got bleeped by Vegeta.
Zoop.
Anyway, that was perfect timing. You said that. Anyway, so like I said, final score 6.3. If you're a giant fan and you don't mind, you'd like really want to watch all those cinematics and you want to play those epic battles and you don't mind the silly shit in between, this is for you, right? But if you're someone like me that doesn't really have the time or patience for that kind of crap, you know, maybe not.
Literally just watch
a regular person.
Yeah, just watch the show, you know?
If you're just like a regular guy, yeah, you probably want to watch the show.
Watch the show and do something else while you do it.
Yeah, that sounds even better. Like play Elden Ring.
It might be fun to play this alongside the show.
Yeah, or maybe play Elden Ring while you're watching.
Way off though.
Yeah. Anyway, let's switch back and continue with our final bit on the
not to go
console
too long,
generations.
but yeah, it's gonna be a juicy one.
Okay, we're back. So, over the last several weeks, we've been doing a series on the generations, the different generations of consoles, video game consoles. All the way from the very beginning to now, we're all the way up to Generation 8. So really, this is the last generation before now, right? So
and some of it is now.
Some of it is now. Yes.
The future is now.
So I named this the final or the end of console generations with a question mark, because some of the things that went on this generation started suggesting that maybe we'd see more iterative consoles rather than, you know, full-blown generations. And in a sense, we are seeing that. Let's get into it. So the first console of this generation was the Wii U. That released near the end of 2012. It's the follow-up to the Wii. It uses the same controllers as the Wii, as well as...
it uses... yes, go ahead. The main controller is the fucking touchscreen thingy.
Yes, Josh, thank you.
The tablet.
As well as a new controller with a screen built into it.
There you go.
And the
that's
ability
the main
to...
controller.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, but like, who remembers that? I mean, we still.
I do. I'm looking at it right now.
I love it.
There's my Wii U.
Frankly, but here's the thing. So you've got this cool controller. It's got a screen built into it. You can play games directly on it. Also, some games had like menus and stuff integrated into it. Really cool idea, to be honest. Definitely a prototype for the Nintendo Switch, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And yeah, like you could even like play your game, like some full-fledged games completely wirelessly on that tablet. Like you could be taking a dump, someone else is watching Netflix, and you're playing your game.
Play it on the roof.
Yeah, sure. Play it on the roof. Unfortunately for Nintendo, the marketing for the Wii U made it seem as though this was just kind of like an add-on to the Wii, right? In fact, I didn't know about it. Like, I didn't know it was a new console until like basically like the last year it was in existence. And I went out and got one. I was super excited. You know, we get bunch of cool games on there. Like E3, they actually killed it at E3 that year. I don't remember which year it was. But you know, it was like 2 years before the Switch came out, and like I was like, holy shit, this thing's awesome. I want one. But yeah, I mean, most people, including myself, didn't know that this was a brand new console. It also had really poor third-party support, almost no third-party support. So
you're talking about the first-party support, even.
Okay.
There was no mainline Mario or Zelda. Well, we got 3D World, which was the mainline Mario.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild was the Wii, really. Wait. Was it the Wii U? It was the Wii U Switch launch.
Yeah.
It was a dual launch. So technically, I actually did play it on the Wii U first. I didn't get the Switch for a year, so.
Yeah.
Good point.
But you're right.
Maybe it had.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
yeah.
There wasn't a lot. It was it struggled. And while it's a game that, or I mean, it's a console that is very near and dear to me. I think it's got like the best eShop out of any Nintendo console.
Yeah, it was really nice.
I do think a lot of games. I think the version of Mario Kart on the Wii U is better than the version of Mario Kart on the Switch. I don't think it's that bold. You don't have the replay feature in the Switch version, and you can't post your videos directly from the game.
So the Wii U also had the Miiverse, which was really awesome. I thought it was like Facebook for just video games.
Yeah,
and it was like all positivity in there. It was awesome.
So there's a lot of really cool things about the Wii U. Unfortunately, due to really poor marketing, it sold abysmal numbers.
Dreamcast.
Yeah, it really did pull a Dreamcast. Fortunately, Nintendo is resilient enough to recover from this. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the PlayStation 4. This was announced in February of 2013, followed by the Xbox One 4 months later, and then both consoles released in November of the same year. In the controversy department, those roles were kind of reversed. As you remember, in the previous generation, PlayStation kind of shot themselves in the foot with like the always on thing and like the DRM on their, not being able to resell games potentially, which they walked back, but it was like too little too late, right? Well, this time Xbox not only comes out saying, hey, you're always connected to the internet, but you also have to use this fucking camera, the Kinect, that's always on and always connected, and you have to use it, which like they ended up getting rid of, but not for a long time, like a surprisingly long time.
I would never buy that.
The original Xbox Ones came packaged with the Kinect, and you had to have it connected. It was ridiculous. They also announced, and I believe that this got walked back too, but they also had a DRM which only allowed a disc-based game to be installed on 5 different consoles. After that, it was useless.
That's insane.
Yeah, so again, it's kind of shooting people in the foot if they want to resell their games. Just pretty shoddy business practices. So yeah, that really kind of limited the interest in the Xbox One early on. This was the first year that Microsoft stopped releasing their sales numbers. probably because of that. As for the PS4, Sony learned from their mistakes on the PS3, having like a notoriously difficult architecture, and made the console much easier to develop for. The DualShock controller got an overhaul, getting new features like a touchpad, better gyroscopics and things like that. Let's see. It also had remote play with the Vita, which was then later ported to smartphones. So you could remote play your PS4 from your phone, which I knew people who would like go do like Destiny bounties and stuff on their PS4 from their phone, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, that's probably the information that we need on that. This is the best-selling Sony console since the PS2.
Absolutely.
Damn, that's insane.
For sure.
Everybody and their mother had a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I had a PS4.
Yeah, there you go. In 2016 and 17, we got our first taste of like a 0.5 generation of consoles. Again, this goes back to the idea of like, is this the last console generation? Sony came out with the PlayStation 4 Pro, and then the following year, Microsoft came out with the Xbox One X. Both consoles were much more powerful than their predecessor, and able to, for the first time, push out 4K gaming on a console, which is pretty cool, I think. I don't know. To be honest, I did get PS4 Pro, but I think for most people, this was like a big niche, right? Like this was a lot of people didn't have 4K TVs then. A lot more people have them now, right? But at the time, there wasn't a lot of 4K TVs in people's houses. So like, the only real benefit that you're getting from these in most cases would be like some games have like increased frame rate and things like that, which is good. Certainly good, but does it justify buying a brand new console for a lot of people? Not necessarily, but yeah, let's see. Anything else? That's about it. Let's talk about the sales. So we talked about Wii U. Oh, it should also be mentioned before we talk about the sales. Technically, the Nintendo Switch is part of this generation.
Yes, sir.
It came out kind of around the same time as like the Xbox One and the PS4 Pro, maybe a little bit after.
It was
2017. Yeah,
that iteration point.
Yeah, so kind of like still mid cycle for the rest of these consoles. So while that's still Nintendo's current gen console, it kind of bridges the gap between now and then. And when we think about it, like it's basically just a fully handheld Wii U in a sense.
Yeah.
Power-wise.
It's definitely the Wii U Plus,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. So again, this goes back to the idea of kind of like iterative consoles rather than like a full new generation. And I wonder if we're going to see more of that. We kind of are seeing that with Xbox, right?
Oh, definitely.
Switch 2.
We don't know about the Switch 2 yet.
No, he means the Switch also. Like we see the OLED.
Oh, right, sure, yeah.
I got you, Josh.
The Switch as well, gotcha. But the Xbox Series, it seems like their concept is to continue making, just iterations in the Xbox Series, right? Rather than coming out with a new, full-blown console. So sales, the Wii U, 13.56 million shipped. They didn't even.
That's horrifying.
So the actual sales
How do they
numbers
stay afloat? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the actual sales numbers aren't reported. We don't know the actual sales.
It's so
that's the
bad.
amount of consoles that were shipped. So we don't even know if that many consoles sold, which is wild.
That's nuts. That's so low.
It is really low. The Xbox One had 51 million, and this is all as of 2020.
That's
The PS4 had 113.6 million consoles.
Sounds about right. Damn.
So it really did blow both of these consoles way out of the water.
Shit, yeah. It just offered a lot more at the time.
Yeah, really did.
And just to put it in perspective, as of September of last year, 91.5 million Switches have sold. It's
incredible. That's a 5-year life cycle so far.
Wii U really dicked the dog.
I'd say that's a success for the Switch so far. If we go another 5 years, we'll see like 180 or more.
I doubt we'll see another 5 years out of the Switch, but it really just depends on whether or not they can.
You could see 3. I think 3 feels like a good number.
Yeah. Let's get into personal stuff, boys.
Oh.
What's your first memory of a Gen 8 console, and what console was it? Let's start with Zach this time.
Okay. Wow. First memory of a Gen 8. Honestly, I don't have any good memories, like solid memories of the Gen 8. At that time in my life, I was just all I had was a PC.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all I cared about. It wasn't until my friend Doug said, "Hey, I want to play Gears with you," that I even considered getting a console. And at that point, it was well into the Xbox One's lifespan. I bought my Xbox so I could play Gears while his wife was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like played some consoles before that. I mean, like at PAX or whatever, but I was just like, I was full bore into PC gaming at this point. I do remember playing Star Fox on a Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
And they like at PAX, they had like an R-Wing that you could sit in. And the Wii U was part of the console. It was really dope. There's a good picture of me.
I would cry
piloting an R-Wing in an R-Wing somewhere banging around in that. So like that's a cool memory. But like I couldn't tell you much about Gen 8 in terms of my experience, other than the Xbox that I've got sitting back there.
Right. Yeah. Josh, same question. What's your first Gen 8 console memory? What console
must be obvious. Yes. So mine is a fun story. Me and Colin were actually living together at the time, and when his house was first being renovated and shit, and I picked up a GameStop job. So there weren't many jobs for me out there. It was really shitty living out there. But I got a job at GameStop, and we got a massive discount. And so I had a little bit of money saved away. We went for a Wii U. And literally, I got like insane discounts. It was like 50% off of everything. I was like, oh my God. So we got like Wind Waker, Donkey Kong. This was not launch. This was like well after launch.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong, Wind Waker, and like Rayman, I think. And then Super Mario 3D World also came out like in a few months after that. So like those 4 games alone, like we just like played the shit out of them, along with like Skyward Sword was pretty fresh still. We played a bunch of Skyward Sword. And I don't know. These games were really awesome. I feel like co-op on all the games I just mentioned were like really good too. Like this was the beginning of, again, the Switch is really trying to drive this home, but the beginning of Nintendo trying to bring co-op back into the households.
Mm-hmm.
And literally all the games except for Zelda, which is arguably a fun story enough game that you can like play around other people at least. They kind of did that. Like, Donkey Kong was co-op for the first time ever, which was really amazing, like true co-op. And Rayman and Super Mario 3D World was the first co-op Mario game that was actually sharing a screen too. Like, holy shit. Like, yeah, the Wii U did a lot really awesomely. This was also, I continued into the PlayStation generation. I got a PS4 as well. And, I'm going to be honest, this is when I started petering off. I really loved the PS3 and a lot of the games that were on there. But the PS4, I think I was this is also the generation I got a PC. So I did a lot in this gen and kind of stopped handheld gaming. And so I liked home gaming and stuff. And my PlayStation became like a Netflix machine. Sure. And so I was like, oh, my PC can like play like almost every game. That's why when Ghost came out, I was like, it's so dumb that games don't just come out only for the PC, but whatever. And so, yeah, this was a really good gen for me. I feel like, Nintendo just drove it home. I think it was really fun. And that's my first memories were so fond, I guess.
Yeah. For me, to be honest, I don't remember. I don't remember when I bought my PS4.
Neither of you guys remember anything.
PS4 was my first console from this generation. I really didn't touch the Xbox until much later in the generation. But I did end up getting it. Honestly, during this time in my life, I wasn't playing a lot of video games.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I really wasn't playing a lot of video games. So I got the PS4 probably a year or two after its launch. And I think it was mostly because of Destiny, to be quite honest. I had started playing Destiny on the Xbox 360, and then my friend, started playing it on PS4 with all his friends, and I wanted to keep playing with them. So I got a PS4. Pretty sure that's what got me into it. Though when it comes to like the most memorable experience in this generation early on, it's got to be the Wii U. Like I said before, I saw, and again, this was late in the gen, right? This was probably 2000. What year did
2013?
No. I know that.
Wild guess.
Yeah, we know when it came out. That's not what I'm asking. What year was the year of Luigi?
Good point. I think it was 2013 as well, actually. Because
it wasn't.
I remember getting that game though.
There was
20. Yes, it was 2013.
Okay, it wasn't 2013. Maybe it was
2013. Well done, Josh.
Okay, when did the Wii U actually launch? Was it 2012? Actually,
no, it launched in. I said it at the beginning. Yeah, it was 2012. It launched.
Okay, 2012.
It was 2012, yeah.
And the next year was.
So maybe it was 2013. Maybe it was.
That's
2013.
when I got my Wii U.
Okay,
that's when I got mine. Yeah, that was only a year in. But again, this console had a maximum 4-year life cycle.
What year did Mario Kart come out?
The following year, 2014. I think.
Okay, then it was 2014 because that year E3 was fucking rad for Nintendo.
Yeah, I remember when E3 was good.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was a really great good. E3, and I was so excited. I literally right after E3, I went out and bought a Wii U.
That's when we saw Breath announced, and I almost shit myself.
Yeah.
I was losing my shit over Breath.
Exactly. I was losing my shit. I went and got Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors was dope, and I made my friend play on the handheld while I played on the TV.
Yeah, I got Hyrule Warriors. I got Wind Waker.
Amazing.
I think I had the Mario Kart, a couple other games. And I was so pumped. And I was actually even, funny enough, I was really excited about Smash, and this is when I realized that I hated Smash because I went out and bought Smash. And was like, and got some extra controllers so that we could all play it. And then we all freaking played it. And I was like, oh my God, I hate this game. And I've always hated this game.
Yes. I ended up, oh my God. Now I'm starting to remember.
Yeah.
I picked up, cause I was still living with my parents. So I didn't have a place to put a console. That's why I didn't get one until later.
Yeah.
And so I was playing mostly on my 3DS. Mm-hmm. And because Smash would talk to the Wii U, I could go to my buddy's house with my 3DS and play Smash with him.
Oh, nice.
And that's exactly what happened is like, I'm enjoying these N64 games, Zelda, from when I was a kid that I never really got to play other than on the couch on my 3DS. Mm-hmm. And then I've got Smash and I can go hang out with my buddy.
Yeah.
That's all I needed at that point in the generation.
Yeah. Crazy. Let's see. What are our other questions about this gen? We kind of already talked about this, but if you have anything to add, like, did you guys play any other consoles that generation?
Oh yeah.
Josh, we'll go with you.
Literally haven't. So this was the generation before this was the last time I played an Xbox ever. Mm-hmm. And like, aside from touching the Xbox controller, I have because it just feels better on my PC. I've never played an Xbox since the 360. So, or maybe the one. Maybe I played the one once. But yeah, this is just like foreign territory to me on Xbox. Fuck that shit. Mm-hmm. Aside from Game Pass, I think they're just disgusting as a company now. But Game Pass is cool, and deals with Nintendo sound cool. So, lots of PlayStation, and again, it kind of like faded away for me. But
Mhm.
PC gaming really picked up for me. This was the years, like from 2016 to 2020. I thought there was like an insane surge of amazing indie games that just like came onto the scene. Incredible. Cuphead, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Katana Zero, like all these
Dude,
games and
Katana Zero
more.
is so good.
All those games, those are like the 4 that really stand out to me, but tons of games in that vein came out in this time, and it was just like a smorgasbord for indie creators, and Steam was really growing in this time. And Steam is still like growing faster than the rest, really, if you think about it, as far as the library is concerned.
Yeah.
It's so accessible, and the library is the vastest out of like by the largest margin possible is the vastest library out of all of them. Also the Steam Deck that's coming out now.
Yeah,
that's current gen though. Just to touch on that for 5 seconds.
That's exciting.
Sounds cool.
Zach, what about you? Any other notable things you want to say about the consoles that weren't your main?
I do have one thing that I want to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
I have never touched a PlayStation 4.
Wow.
I've never touched one.
That's impressive.
Breathe near it.
Yeah. I just like during PS2 and PS3 era, I realized that my hands were not comfortable on those controllers. And I just kind of wrote it off as, oh, this is just a thing that people have to watch Blu-rays. I don't need to do this. I have a Blu-ray player.
Right.
So, and again, didn't have a place to put a console in my parents' place. The fact that when I moved out, my friends were playing Xbox, that's why I chose Xbox in this generation. I honestly, probably, if that wasn't a thing, probably would have just stuck with my PC.
Nice. Yeah.
And I definitely, as there is pictorial evidence that proves it, I definitely did at one point play a Wii U, although it was not particularly memorable to me.
Yeah. I do love the Wii U, but actually of this console gen, while it certainly was the biggest failure, it's probably my favorite console. I feel like it's got the most character, and I did technically own all 3 main consoles this generation, but I literally played my Xbox. When I first started streaming, I was streaming for a company called Husky Entertainment, and they wanted me to play games on everything. And so the only console I didn't have from this gen was an Xbox, and so they bought me an Xbox One S. And again, like I said, I probably played it one time ever. Ended up just giving it to a friend of mine, who played a lot of Xbox. Not that it was a bad console per se, but I had everything that I needed on PC and on PS4 at the time. So there really wasn't, and there really wasn't any standout exclusives on the Xbox, at least for me. Right. And especially later in the generation, like earlier on, you've got, your Halo and your Gears. I'm not particularly a huge fan of either of those series. I don't hate them, but I also don't really, it's not necessarily my jam. Sure. But that's pretty much it. Like everything else for the most part was cross, multi-console, multi-platform, and PlayStation by far had the best exclusives this generation. So, I don't know. So yeah, I do know.
I don't know. You don't have any Zelda games on PlayStation, and I had Wind Waker.
Yeah, but that's not from that gen.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So
we had God of War.
Yeah, God of War is amazing. I know it's not your favorite, but it's undeniably good. It's way better than Breath of the Wild.
I don't know.
I do.
I'll be the judge of that. I'll play and find.
Let's wrap it up, boys. Overall influence of this generation. It's kind of like, it's interesting that, while it's the most recent generation to this one, it kind of feels like the generation that the 3 of us were the most checked out on.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say that, the influence on this generation is try harder. Like, no joke. I think that every console that came out initially was not up to snuff. Like, straight up. No offense. Looking back, we got them all and we played them all and whatever. But like when I turned on my PS4, even at the time, I thought like this is like PS3 Plus. It's the same cookie cut again.
Sure.
I'm not mad at it, but like I didn't think like PS5 is such a big jump.
Yeah.
Now we're talking new. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
so I think that this generation there's a lot of good building blocks in place. Nintendo decided it wants to do co-op. It wants to run with its IPs in a cool direction to keep the gimmick thing going. We're not quite there yet. We're getting the Switch then. And then Xbox decides it wants to do more accessible online shit, but it doesn't quite know how to do it yet without fucking over its people. And Sony's like, we just want to make the most hardcore, like solo, like awesome IP experiences ever. They're not quite there yet though, but they are kind of. And so we push, we try harder. And then when we get to current gen, they're all pretty much optimized. And like every company is now working at optimal like capacity, I think. Like, even Nintendo, like pumping out greats now. And we think that all these companies are moving slowly because of COVID. But if we really look out and like look at what's out right now currently, we have some of like the best gaming right now. It's kind of insane. Like on all the consoles. Like all of them are repping hard. Yeah. And I think that was because of the last generation, like really forcing a push. Sure. Like try harder, basically. Yeah. And they all listened, and all the companies have stepped up hardcore this gen. But
Zach, yes, do you have anything to add to that?
I would say I'm Josh is exactly right. I mean, the iterative process to rolling out a console was just kind of in prototype in Gen 8. We're really seeing that with especially Xbox, especially Switch, having multiple models that are both fully viable. And even I guess PlayStation does too, because they have the digital only model.
Yeah.
That we forget it exists because we don't have it. But like everybody stepped up their game. Nintendo was trying things. I mean, they tried to move from one generation into another using the same controller, which is, to the best of my knowledge, never really been done before.
Never done that before, yeah.
And it didn't work, but they learned from it. They were.
I mean, kind of Xbox controllers basically been the same since 360.
Correct, but like there's the move from wireless from wired to wireless or whatever. Fine, whatever. But like Nintendo said, okay, we've got this really rad controller in the Wii Remote. Now we've integrated the Wii Remote Plus into it, and we can keep this on the market a little bit longer. They were viewing that as sort of the pinnacle of controller technology. Turns out it's not, and we got the Joy-Cons attached to the Switch, but they tried it, and it wasn't a complete commercial failure. And the willingness to try things, the willingness to give it a shot, I think that's what's going to endure out of this generation. And the companies are willing to take those risks in order to make the best product possible. I think that's really what we're getting with Gen 9.
Yeah, I think not enough risks were taken potentially, but like potentially we're almost taken in Gen 8 and then full swing in Gen 9. Just like knocking them out of the park.
I don't know that there's anything that I can add to that. I think you guys summed it up really well. So, yeah. There you go.
Nice.
That's the show, boys. If you're watching this live, you're watching it on my Twitch channel. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to try and be more consistent, especially now that I'm starting Elden Ring.
You play for 10 hours your first stream.
I wish.
That's true. You have real life.
Yeah.
Adam says he's going to join you on Tuesday too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the plan.
I might join.
That's the plan.
PlayStation though.
Yeah, we're on PS5. I'm gonna get it on PC too.
Josh, you and I can start our own stream with Blackjack and poker.
I'm only gonna stream from the PlayStation 5, just for better quality, you know.
Wow, better quality.
It will be like.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't have a secondary streaming computer, so
true.
It will be better quality, like objectively. So. Anyway, Saturdays I always do a samurai game because it's Samurai Saturday.
It'd be Elden Ring as a samurai.
Well, you know, it's funny. I almost started. If I wasn't so busy this weekend, I had such a busy weekend. I thought about starting it yesterday on stream as Samurai Saturday because I am going to pick a samurai. Surprise.
Naturally.
But I just didn't have time to stream yesterday, so we called it off. But yeah, anyway, Samurai Game Saturday, and then of course we're back here on Sunday nights for the podcast. And then if you're watching on YouTube, please share it. And, like and subscribe and all that stuff too. But sharing really helps. Sharing is caring. And join the Discord, boys and girls.
Yes, do the thing.
Let's see. I can't type to save my life. Anyway, all the links are in the chat. Go ahead and do that. Also, if you want to yell at me on Twitter, at Ryugami-sama. It's right down there. Boop. So find me there. Josh, where can we find you?
Yes. Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV on all my bullshit. And I don't know. We might see. I don't know if I can stream Elden Ring or not. So we'll find out. If not, I was promising Kirby as my next game. So maybe Elden Ring, but maybe Kirby. Nice. So either way, yeah, this game's awesome. I'll be playing it, and you can be thinking about me playing it. You can't watch me play it. I promise I'll be playing it.
Cool.
But anyway, so you can find me. Yay.
Zach, what about you, man?
I'm on Twitch at Another Letdown. I'll be live on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Zach and Alex Gear Up. We're playing through Gears Tactics. Almost very, very close to done with that at this point. And then Friday, we've got the finale of the Arkham Horror living card game, Night of the Zealot campaign on Tabletop Simulator. And then Saturday, Paul's brother Adam and our friend Mike and I are going to be painting minis. I'm working on a bunch of X-Men.
Cool. I didn't hear Elden Ring.
Well, I'll be playing Elden Ring as soon as I get the power supply and graphics card installed.
Excellent. All right, guys. Have an awesome night. Thanks once again for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.